Hey folks, this is Jim with Science Talk. Quick little weather report. Weather, not climate. And then an update to, or an addendum to a recent video I just posted. First, the weather report. This past week, we saw some of the coolest temperatures in interior Alaska we've seen for some time. It got to 38 below at my house. Still not 40 below at my house, although there were reports of unofficial reports of something like minus 44 in other locations. So definitely some cool temperatures on the way that came in. It has considerably warmed up today. I think temperatures are about 10 below, 7 below, something like that. But so far, at my house, granted this is anecdotal evidence, I have not seen temperatures of 40 below at my house for 3 winters, including the current winter. Now, granted, there's still the rest of January and February, but keep in mind that I've been here basically 30 years, and it used to be, the cold, where it could get really, really cold is from November, December, January, February. Those were the really 4 months where it could get really cold. It can get cold in March, but because there's more sunlight energy and more direct aiming of the axis towards the sun, quickly warms up. There's a lot of sunshine. It's really probably my favorite winter month. Still snow. It's not as severely cold. Be that as it may. Traditionally, especially in January, but it could happen November, December, January, February, you would get a Siberian high pressure system. You would then slide over interior Alaska to Yukon territory and set up shop. And for 3 weeks, on average, it'd be 50, 55, 60 below. All you have to do is you have to wait for that high pressure system as it's rotating to slowly erode and then be replaced by something else, another system. Those days don't happen anymore. Not that I'm complaining, it's good for the heating bills, but still, those days of weeks upon weeks of severe cold temperatures simply do not happen anymore. In fact, it said the last time I recorded temperatures of 40 below was from 4 winters ago. It got to about 45 below for about, I think it was 4 or 5 days, maybe less. And that's just it. When it gets the really cold temperatures, and here in Alaska, 40 below or colder is considered really cold temperatures. 30 below, a bit chilly. 20 below, 10 below, balmy. We're a little nuts up here. But now when the cold temperatures do come in, it doesn't persist. So this is all part of the changing patterns that are happening in the Arctic. So it's just, I said, my house is just simply anecdotal evidence. It's not proof of anything. It's just, I'm just simply making observations. And my observation, and I live in a valley, which is usually a colder spot to live in. I got to 38 below. Wasn't 40 below. It's close, but got to 38 below. So we're seeing this new pattern here of just not the severe cold. This, of course, is allowing. I'm seeing, for example, magpies up here. Magpies usually don't come into interior Alaska, but I've seen them up here now for several years now. The spruce bark beetles are now surviving the interior winters, which is now causing issues for the trees here. It used to be interior winters were just too cold for the larvae. They couldn't survive. They froze. Now they're not. So there are definitely changes going on. Changes in the sea ice, changes in the permafrost, changes in even the phytoplankton community of the Bering Sea. Diatoms, cold water phytoplankton, are being replaced by coccolithophorids, which are phytoplanktons that prefer warmer temperatures. And that, of course, has ramifications for the entire ecosystem setup and structure. It'll affect the food chains and food webs. So things are definitely happening. Now, the addendum that I wish to share with you relates to the geoengineering video that I just posted recently, where I discuss, using sulfur dioxide to try and cool the planet down. And I went through a whole bunch of reasons as to why I think that's a really bad idea. I discussed the uncertainties with initial conditions. We don't know what the new interactions are. Even though we may understand interactions in the system, the addition of one more variable could change all of that. We don't know what an addition of one more parameter, one more variable will do to a system. Find the Lagrange point for two bodies, easy. Three bodies, can be done. A little more difficult, but can be done. Four bodies, all bets are off. So it's that kind of an idea. What I did not mention, and I realize I probably should have, you put in all that sulfur dioxide in the air. Right? I talked about we don't know how it's going to interact. We don't know the interaction, what it's going to do, how long it's going to persist, how long do you have to keep injecting, what's it going to do to atmospheric conditions, all the possible, all the interactions. Here's one. SO2 plus H2O equals H2SO3, sulfurous acid. H2SO4 is sulfuric. Sulfurous is H2SO3. It's still an acid. Well, there was some issues some decades ago about acid rain. You might have heard about it. I actually, at the time, I was still in New Hampshire, and I was studying some of that, what it was doing to streams and brook trout. And basically, because of the emissions from smokestacks, you had nitrous oxide, you had sulfur dioxide, and other chemicals. It was basically forming nitrous, sulfurous, nitric, and sulfuric acid when it combined with the water vapor, and it was falling as those acids, and it was greatly reducing the pH of the lakes and streams and the soils. And it was basically causing fish kills. It was causing ecosystems to suffer severely, be it terrestrial or aquatic. I guess you can see where I'm going with this now. You start dumping all that SO2 up there, you're going to create basically a shitload of sulfurous acid that's going to come down and really start dropping the pH of the ecosystem. And again, they don't have an idea of how much they're going to have to put up there, how regularly, how often, how much at a go. So if you start dumping SO2 by the tonnage up in the atmosphere, what's he saying? What goes up must come down, unless it's Voyager 1 and 2. Yeah, it's just that this is going to come back down, and this is going to really cause more harm. Here's another example of unintended consequences. Interactions. Another reason why this is a really bad idea. So I just wanted to mention the little bit of the weather here. It's still cool, so got to dress appropriately for it, but not as severe as it used to be in years gone past, which I lived my share through as well. And it's something else to think about with this geoengineering scheme of adding SO2 into the atmosphere. A really bad idea. So, a whole bunch of videos coming. Stay tuned. Thank you for your time.